County. Again, thanks to everybody who makes this thing happen. Thanks to Jason and Gayla Robinette, all of the volunteers, the Ultra4 USA staff, the AOE crew, media, safety, USAC, racers, fans, all of our marketing partners, and teaming up with Yellowstone Off-Road Racing has been absolutely amazing, and we are about to give away some hardware from Laser Nut wrapped by 360 Wraps. And don't forget, we will have a special 1-hour show brought to you by Speed Sport, our official broadcast partner. We will be bringing one out from Rush, Kentucky here very soon. And then every Ultra4 USA regional race will have that 1-hour special on Speed Sport.
It's super cool. I know that the drivers are excited about it too. It's awesome to have that coming into Ultra4 USA. We're also doing it at Mid-America Outdoors as well for our side-by-side championship series. So it's super cool to have Speed Sport on here doing post-produced shows for all of our drivers and everybody at home that will get to start watching them live.
And that's Thomas Hackman, the 423, and that 82 Dodge Ram 4-wheel drive. Oh, there's John Owen still pulled over, giving his buddy a high five.
At Air 5.
At Air 5, you're right. What a beautiful day it has been. What a beautiful week it has been here. We've been out here all week setting up course, setting up the vendor village. Speaking about that, we have Amsoil here on site. We have the Mid-America Outdoor and Ultra4 USA merchandise trailer. Go check out Angel, Bailey, and Carly and the whole crew's over there. Laura's been cutting some checks. Over $56,000 of cash prize will be given out at this race.
Wow, that's amazing. That's got to be exciting for our drivers as well. But there we have Mick Henson going over the Yukon launch. Still trucking along. I keep saying it. I keep saying it all the time, but that is my favorite, one of my favorite cars out here, just because it's such an old truck, and he's just out here racing it, having fun. He did it also. He raced it in a hill climb. I can't remember which race we were at, but he did a hill climb in it as well.
That was at BMR at Disney, and he raced with the Southern Rock Racing Series and won their stock class. And then won at Rush, Kentucky this year, and it looks like he's going to get a top 5 here at the Big Sky 200. So Mick Henson putting that Toyota through the paces. Is that DAO 22RE? Because the stock class, you have to have a stock engine. You can obviously hot rod it up, but it has to be the factory style engine. Factory transmission, unlimited transfer case. Mechanical steering, whatever kind of suspension it came through from the factory. A 35-inch DOT tire. So let's go over that. So DOT tire is what you drive on your Jeep, on your toy hauler. It's a DOT. It's street legal. Mm-hmm. Well, on this next race, there'll be race tires. They're stickies, and they're so it's just going to show some of these rocks. They don't have to check up for them. Those tires can really take a lot more abuse than the DOT tires.
Exactly, and the beefiness of it, and there's so many different tire manufacturers out there. It's so fun to, at these races, see the people with the different tires, talking about, oh no, my tire's better, this or that, and it sometimes comes down to tire brand. But there we have Mick Henson right now getting that checkered flag, and his tailgate's down there.
Once again, I remember last year at Disney for the Legends of the Fall, his tailgate flopped open like that, so we'll see if he's gonna get a little bit better of a latch on there.
I was going to say, isn't it like aerodynamics and you go faster with your tailgate down when you see people driving down the freeway?
I think Mythbusters said that was a lie.
I'm just kidding.
There's another your competitor. Here's that little rock section. If you were in the dust right here and you tried to pass it on the left, your day is done. Those rocks can really jump out of that cliff and bite you if you're going there. I was talking to Grizz and his daughter, I believe it was Annalise, hit that little rock ledge a couple years ago with the rear or with one of the tires and ripped it off.
Yeah, and obviously they don't move, but they're sharp too, so they'll slice your tire or just completely rip your arm completely off.
Suspension arm.
Suspension arm.
Not your arm. You're
Not
in the
your
car.
arm.
You're in a roll cage.
Race car drivers know what I was talking about.
There's a great shot of the course. See some dust coming into the screen. And somebody's moving pretty good.
We have not seen Troy Digby again unless he came through while I was off comms here.
I missed it. It looks like that's Daniel Wright, the number 3, with Randy Wright riding shotgun. Dwayne Garrettson trying to chase down Daniel Wright.
And this is a hairpin turn right there. The left-hand turn, the ruts are getting deep. Another thing, speaking with John Rance as well, we were talking about the terrain out there, and he said that the UTVs have really torn the track up compared to pre-running. So imagine what this race course is going to look like after the unlimited cars go here later this afternoon.
Yeah, the UTVs tore the course up. The limited cars are tearing the course up. Wait till we tear down course tomorrow and see what the 4400 and the Pro Your cars do out there. I mean, there's a TT Unlimited truck, a Class 1. I mean, there's some really hot, heavy hitters with Your. And then, obviously, we have a lot of our big names for 4400 in the Ultra4 USA as well. And on that pole position is Mr. Paul Wolf, the 1018, in that single-seat UFO.
And being out front is definitely going to be a very good thing for him today because of the dust cloud, because we were thinking too that probably by lap 2 is when they'll start getting into lap traffic possibly. So we shall see how right everybody is, because everybody has their assumptions, right? So, and there goes Dwayne Garrettson. He's currently running in 3rd position for the 4500 Yukon Gear and Axle Modified class unofficially. And so we shall see when he comes through if it sticks.
There's the McDonald's still pushing strong. But yeah, if Dwayne Garrettson can keep it going, that'd be extremely impressive, because he had that oil leak issue earlier on and was able to figure that out and keep on rocking. And he's made a couple passes in just the last 5 minutes.
And he does have the second fastest lap of the day as well at a 1 hour 51 second lap, right behind John Matthews at a 1 hour 10 second lap. So second fastest lap of the day is pretty awesome.
Yeah, Dwayne Garrettson was the Ultra4 East Championship 2 times. He's been a national champion as well. He's won multiple races, as well as he won King of the Hammers this year. He's won Rush this year, so Dwayne Garrettson is on a roll. He had that issue earlier, but if he can land that 3rd position, he's looking good for national points and East and West.
And you could see right before he started getting into that lighter powdery sandy wash right there, you could see that he was hitting some terrain because the car was bouncing around a little bit. It's really cool to see how the cars work and how rough the race course is. Watching the camera view, that really shows you how rough it is out on race course.
Yeah, these cars are really soaking it up. Obviously, that 4500 car has 2 shocks per corner. There's that car that got clipped earlier in the back.
Still trucking along.
But still moving.
Getting ready to go over that Brannick bump. And that is Thomas Hackman.
I love that old Ram out there still trucking along. Something new to the 2023 season that everybody that's registered with Ultra4 USA will receive a Air Evac Life Team free of charge from the AOE program. Something new we have stepped up and done this year, so that's a huge thing from the Robinettes and American Outdoor Events for all of our Ultra4 USA drivers. Because at the end of the day, without the racers, we wouldn't be racing. So we want to keep them safe and everybody safe at that fact.
Exactly. And, you know, we have to give a huge shout out to our amazing production crew out here. Our camera guys, they get out here, you know, 2 hours before we even start going racing to get their cameras set up, get to their locations. They're standing out there all day long in the sun, getting amazing shots for us. So a huge shout out to all of our camera guys out there.
Yeah, they're out in the middle of nowhere. They, you know, sometimes they have shade. They take their own snacks and water, but they put through the paces to bring you guys the best racing action we could do. Saw the checkered flag fly. We've got about another hour and a half left in this race before we kick off the 4400 Unlimited, the 4800 Brannick Motorsports class. And then also the Yor will have the Pros and the Pro Unlimited. So we'll have 4 different races going on at the same time later on this afternoon at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So be sure to get your snacks ready, get your drinks ready, and get ready for a show.
And Miles, you can feel the temperatures heating up. The sun is out. The breeze is still going, but it is definitely getting warmer. Hopefully all of our drivers that are going to be out on the race course later on this afternoon are all hydrated. And Albert Contreras moving at a great pace. And we have the checkered flag flying right now. And I'm not sure what that number is of the car.
I believe that's number 11 of Wolfrica from Electric City, Washington. You can see the flags are flying just a little bit. That wind is about perfect. It could maybe pick up just a little bit, but we're not complaining about any of it.
It could pick up just a bit out on race course, but not up here.
Yeah, that'd be all right. Looks like we're back to Albert Contreras from Compton, California. There is Troy Digby. He's a little off pace once again. So tough break for him, but he's still moving. Troy Digby and Bob Humanchek pushing through. Getting ready to roll over the Brannick bump. Back to Albert Contreras. That's the car that was parked on by Joe Fabrizio just a little bit ago. And I was talking to Joe Fabrizio, and he was saying that he was going to race the rest of the Ultra4 USA series, but I saw that car rolling through getting towed through the pits, and it looked like he's got his hands full. But hopefully he's got a good help back at home and he can get it back going and come back racing with us. Because our next Ultra4 race is Visions coming up very soon.
Miles, I'm going to go see if I can find a driver that came off race course to come over and give us some information. I'll be right back.
I love it. Thank you, Pam. Dwayne Garrettson coming on. He's pushing strong. He could be our unofficial third place in the 4500 Yukon Gear and Axle Modified class. He had that issue, that oil leak early on, but was able to get it back and going. Our drivers don't have quit in their vocabulary. Dwayne Garrett's and the Ricky Bobby of Ultra4 coming in hot. Unofficial third place for the 4500 Yukon Gear and Axle Modified class for the Amsoil Big Sky 200. White flag goes out for Troy Digby. There's Daniel Wright and Randy Wright hitting the Yukon launch. This has been the limited race. We started racing at 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time this morning. We still got about another hour before we shut down the start-finish for this race, and then at 1 p.m. we'll kick off the 4400 Unlimited, the 4800 Brannick Motorsports Legends class, and the Yellowstone Off-Road Pro and Pro Unlimited cars. That next race will have roughly 50 cars take the line, and they are the biggest and baddest names in our sport. So got another special guest. Pam was out there and wrangled up one of our drivers, and not just a driver, but unofficial first place in the 4500 Yukon Gear and Axle Modified class, John Matthews. How's it going, buddy?
Going great. Awesome day out here today at Montana Big Sky 200.
It's a beautiful race. Like I said, it's unofficial, but this could be your second one out here, correct?
Yeah, we went out here 2 years ago against Johnny Grounds, too.
Yeah, it's a great show. You showed up early, you've done your homework, and you had your son in the car. That's one of my favorite things about Ultra4 is doing the family affair out there. You're driving, you have your son in there, just having fun, right?
Right. Yeah, it's a blast having family involved and having him co-drive with me, and I think I've talked to you about it, but we've got a new car under construction right now, and once that one's done, it'll probably end up being my two younger boys racing this car.
You're not going to give them the new car?
Hell no.
No, it's great to see. And I don't remember which race it was, but he had to skip one of the races because he had something to do, like graduate high school or something, right?
Right. I think it was 2 years ago when we were out here. He was graduating this weekend, and
okay, it was 2 years ago.
I skipped it to come win and had somebody else in the co-dog seat.
Yeah, that's great to see. So now he's graduated. He's riding shotgun with you. And you invited me over, what was it? I guess it was Thursday night? And you did it. Yeah, you did it Wednesday night. We had a shrimp boil over there. It had a great little gathering, and it was a lot of fun. So thanks for having us over, and just had the whole camaraderie over there. A bunch of drivers swung by and having fun, and it's just that's what we're here for. Just have fun.
We always try to have a good time. We you know me. We always bring the party with us.
Yeah, you like to have a good time off course and on course.
Heck yeah.
So what's your next race you're going to race with us at?
You know, I'm not completely sure yet.
You going to try for Visions?
I don't think I can pull that one off.
Okay. It's only in a few weeks, so I get that completely. But you're not giving up on us yet, huh?
We're trying to wrap up the new car, and I run my own business, so it's only possible to take so much time away from the shop, and we're definitely going to be at Havasu, and between then and now, I don't know what else we're going to do.
All right, but yeah, the Legends of the Fall in Lake Havasu is going to be absolutely insane. Obviously, Ultra4USA will be racing there, F1 boat racing, the Rodeo, National Music Act, Nitro Circus.
Yeah, we're going to go for the whole week. It sounds like a good party.
It's going to be a week-long affair out there, and then throw in Lake Havasu into the mix. I mean, you can't have a bad time there.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time. So the race went pretty well for you. I guess what I hear, you had a transmission get hot on you, a fan wasn't working?
Well, so at the end of lap one, when we pulled in, it was definitely running hot, and I think that we were just puking a little bit of excess transmission fluid. But we tried messing with the fuse and the wiring and the relay and couldn't get the second cooling fan back online. So I think the fan motor itself probably died. So we ran the remainder of the race on one cooling fan and kind of running hot all day long and not fully running 100%.
So you're watching the gauges, and when it started peaking up, you'd have to back off the throttle?
For sure. We ran all of the straightaways at 75% instead of being able just to hammer down because it would get hot pretty quick otherwise.
It was such a great race, and it came down to unofficially, I think, 3 minutes between you and Sean. It was such a great race.
Yeah, we were definitely watching him out there. He got ahead of us at one point.
Yeah, in the hot pits, you guys got around each other a couple times.
And I know when we pulled out of the pit, my guy said we had 2 minutes on him, so I just needed to pedal back to keep the temps down, but
also move forward to get away from
lead. And when we pulled out here in the bottom valley out here at the end of the course, I knew that, I was pretty certain we had him because he hadn't pulled out into it yet until we were almost clear of the jump at the end.
Yeah, because going through on screen right now on the top left, you can go all the way around and then come back at us, so you can judge by the dust trail on how far back they are.
So it wasn't until we were coming back off the second jump that we saw him enter the valley, and I was pretty confident at that point we had it.
Yeah, because you guys took off in 30-second increments, one at a time. So he took off 1 full minute behind you, and it just came down to that.
I knew I had to get him by 1 minute.
I think that's Anthony Taylor, I believe, that's pulled off course. So this course has ate up some cars. I don't know who hasn't had some issues today.
Yeah, we saw one of the Toyotas out there all smashed up in the front end. I'm not sure what we hit. And we saw one guy off over here in the mud. Albert was off. Yeah, they were off over there in the mud when we went by on the third lap, I think. But, we blew race mile 11 the first lap. We had a big off and down in a gully and came back up. So
you had a little uh-oh moment, huh?
Yeah.
Was that your fault or Connor's fault?
No, he called the turn. I just didn't slow down quite enough. And rather than steer into it and risk tipping it over, I just drove out of it. So.
Oh, yeah, and that's what the Ultra 4 cars do best because, having that all-wheel or four-wheel drive on it, you can go over the berm and through the river into Grandma's
down
house.
In a gully, and I hit the rear locker and powered back up the other side.
There's Albert Contreras. That's the one you just talked about being stuck in the little mud gully.
Yeah, they went off in that down in that little culvert down there in the mud at the end of the valley.
Did you see when Fabrizio was parked on him? So Contreras was stuck in the mud, and then Fabrizio blew the same corner and ran way up on him and was literally parked on top of him.
Now, by the time I got there, they were next to each other, and the recovery guys were all there and flagging us to slow down and stuff.
But it's been a great day, or a great week. I mean, we've been here all week, setting up, pre-running, qualifying, racing, and now, you're finally done. Now you can relax, take a deep breath, and enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, we left Seattle Tuesday night, drove through the night to be here Wednesday morning, so we could take that extra day and just relax and enjoy it, and it was a good time out here.
Are you helping anybody in the 4400 class?
I think we're helping some of the Canadians, the Brink Fab guys, just
because.
They've got their crew that they need, but we're kind of on standby just in case they get more than a couple cars in at the same time or something.
And I brag about that all the time with the Ultra4USA family. That you're not necessarily their pit crew, but you're on standby, like you said. And if anybody needs help, it's all hands on deck. Whether it's just simple as shake a tire, or I got a part in my pit, I'll run over and get you a starter or whatever.
It's always been that way. Sharing pits, tires, parts, fuel, whatever. You've been there a couple times with John Grounds and his old car. How many of us 4500 guys were there helping him do head gaskets?
Every one of them, yeah.
All of us just want to race each other.
Yeah, and you want to race each other at their best as well.
Yep, I love that part of this family for sure. Everybody's here to help each other.
100%. There's Troy Digby still moving, and I've said it again. He's a little off pace, but he's still going. So that's
he was
good.
out of the car out there when we passed him on lap 3, waving us on. I'm not sure what was going on with him, but he was stopped and out of the car and helmet off for a minute.
And here comes the checkered flag for Albert Contreras, another unofficial finisher in the 4600 Spider Track stock class for the Amsoil Big Sky 200. Well, I'm going to kind of let you enjoy yourself. I'm going to bring another driver in and have a quick chat. But John Matthews, always a pleasure, and it's great to see you in here. And we'll see you at the next one, or I'll see you later on this evening. All right?
You know where the party's at.
Absolutely. So I'll bring Pam back in, and then we'll switch out another special driver we have.
It's always awesome, Miles, to have these drivers come in. I know they just came off race course. They're trying to pump the water in them and rehydrate. But we're going to switch you out now, and I get to have a conversation with our next guest. But we're rounding out our day, almost done with the first race of the day. It's been awesome so far.
It's been a lot of fun, but I'm going to go take a quick break and hear what Sean has to say.
Well, and a lot of people have came in over there, so, hey, go chit-chat with them. All right, we're going to bring in Mr. Sean Rance over here. All right, Sean Rance, welcome to the Amsoil booth. How are you?
I'm great. It was a great race.
It was a great race. You and John, you guys were playing leapfrog pretty much all morning long.
It was great. He let me by one time, and then he outran me one time, and it was just back and forth. It's the kind of racing we really like.
It pretty much came down to every time you guys came in and you guys both would go into the booth, you guys it was like a race. And I know that you had Ryan Miller in your pits helping you guys out, and we saw when you guys were fueling, every time he was going back to get a fuel jug, he was looking back to see where John was at. It was pretty awesome to watch because we were watching it all here on the live show.
Yeah, Ryan and Bailey are here for the 4400, and so they helped us during this race, and we're going to do them pits for them during the race. That's the friendship part. We've been friends for a long time.
And that's what we love. That's what we love about. I know there's other 4400 racers that have been helping out this morning with other people's pits, and so it's really cool to see that because we are really one big happy family is what I always say. But you had some issues out there on course that ended up putting you behind, putting you in that second position because you guys, like we said, you were within seconds of knowing who was going to win this race. But give us a little rundown of what was going on with your car.
Well, it ran great for the first 2 laps, and then halfway through the 3rd lap, I think the alternator regulator's going out, and it would get voltage and lose voltage, and it didn't want to run at 10 volts, and then it would come back, and we thought, well, we're not giving up. We're just going to keep running it until it quits, and it didn't quit. and sad enough, the rest of them didn't have a good day.
Right.
You know, so there's always pluses and minuses. My plus is their minus, and,
Right.
And we just hang in there until the end. We never give up.
Well, coming down to that last lap, you knew how close between you and John, how close it was coming down to that last lap, but you had to turn off everything. You had to turn off all of your comms and everything, so you didn't even have your radio able to communicate to your pit.
Right, we turned off the helmet pumper so it got hot and dusty, and turned everything off we could, and the headlights, so we were not real friendly to people when we were coming upon them, but we had to do what we could, and I have to give a kudos to the York group, because we did pass a few of the bugs and a few of the trucks, and we didn't even really have to honk. They're great people, and I pulled over to let Matthews by, but yeah, it's a great place.
Yeah, it's awesome to see the courtesy of the drivers. We did see, some of our drivers as well do the same thing, because if you know that you're not in the running and you have somebody on you that's obviously caught up to you, you want to pull over because you don't want to be that person that holds up somebody's race and possibly, make them lose by a few seconds. And like I said earlier, when Miles and I were on here too, we were going through drivers meeting stuff, and Grizz with Yor was saying, if you're in a canyon, just be nice, because when you get out of it, you're going to have room to pass.
Yeah, I heard there was a little bit of bumping going on out there. I didn't see it or do any of it, but they were just great people. It's a great place and a great event, and I hope we get to come back.
Yeah, me too. I've never been up here. Did you race here last time we were here? Okay.
This is our first time in Montana for this type of race.
It was pretty cool. What do you think about the terrain out here?
Oh, the terrain, it's great. We like a lot of rocks, and there's not a lot of rocks out here, but it's the washes and the tight turns, and there's such big berms out there after everybody running all day. It's great.
So let's get back to that, what you just said about the berms. Did you pre-run the other day?
I did.
Okay, so what do you think about the course? Because I was talking earlier to John Rance, and I was saying how, the terrain, and he said the UTVs really tore the course up.
They did. And I'm sure some of the stuff today did it as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the berms they're just huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
they grab you and try to bicycle you. We bicycled a lot, but we didn't end up on our side. But yeah, they grab you a lot. It's going to be interesting with the 44s, but they're wider and bigger and taller, and I don't think it'll bother them.
Yeah, well, we were talking about it earlier too, the bugs that are out there having to go through the same terrain you guys are going through. We would see them. They were trying to basically straddle the high line of it, and sometimes you can't help it. It just sucks you in.
Yeah, you can see a lot of the spots out there where the ruts are so deep, but there is a nice flat spot down on tops where somebody was dragging.
Yeah, I know. I call it like a little belly scratch for them, because they have absolutely hardly any clearance at all. But it's super cool to be out there racing with them and having them out here.
And I like to see all types of racing, and I'm sure there's all different ages and all different types of vehicles, 2-wheel drives, 4-wheel drives, and bugs, and Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. And you're saying that about ages. I think our youngest racer out here that was racing in the larger classes was the 14-year-old of Nathan Parker, who won his class yesterday.
Oh, cool.
Pretty awesome being
Yeah, it
14
is.
years old.
Yeah, you got to get kids into something that they enjoy and keep them out of other things.
Exactly. And I love your your Bronco and John's Bronco. I love how you guys have the same paint scheme on it and everything. And you have the newer version. And your year, is it a 67, 62?
Well, they made that little Bronco from 66 to 77.
Okay.
So it can be anywhere in there because it's all handmade.
Gotcha.
Custom made. And then so it's called the first gen Bronco, and then this is the 6th gen. We just we're Ford people.
I'm a Ford person too,
Oh.
so
Everybody-
I actually have an 88 Bronco 2 at home.
Oh, my son Kevin has a 78
Okay.
Bronco.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's pretty awesome. No, the racing was amazing though, and you guys did so awesome out there, and we have to wait until it's completely over. But
Yeah.
being unofficially in that second position right there for the 4,500 class, pretty cool.
We're happy. You know, it's been a long year. We didn't do good at KOH. We had a lot of issues and didn't finish this. We've done every KOH for EMC they've had, and we finished without this one. We finished 9 of 12 that we've entered in, and so far we have raced every Western Series race for EMC that has ever took place.
Wow.
We started in 2012 at KOH, and then we've done every race that EMC has had since. We've done a lot of the East Coast too, but not every one. But the West, we've done every one they've ever put on.
That's pretty awesome. I knew that I thought I had heard something about that, but that is super cool to have you up here telling us and everybody that watches our racing, and now everybody knows, and super awesome.
It's just fun. You know, my kids are here now. They're doing it. And at Visions, we'll have 3. We have our side-by-side that'll be there, and then the 2 Broncos. So we're stepping up a little more all the time.
Yeah, Visions is going to be one crazy week.
I believe so.
Yeah, there's so much going on. I mean, besides our races, the
Right.
Ultra4USA and the side-by-side, the whole Travis
Monster
Pastrana
trucks
thing,
and,
pit bike race. Next thing you know, we're going to be bringing in a pit bike, aren't you?
I don't think so. You know, for me, I'm 63 years old, so for me, that hurts.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do it myself. No, how about Barbie Jeeps for anybody in your group?
I don't know about Barbie Jeeps.
I could
but
Barbie Bronco.
My granddaughter is racing Barbie Bronco at the circle track probably as we speak.
Oh, wow.
It's in the afternoon at home in Aztec, New Mexico. She's out there for her first race today.
Nice.
We didn't get to be there, so we'll have to watch it on video.
Well, we actually had a youth racer that raced in the 170 class yesterday that lives in New Mexico, and he races quarter midgets, and they literally left right after his race to get home for his race tonight. So it's pretty cool. But I'll let you get going, and thank you so much for coming up here. We're going to do the podiums here in just a little bit, I believe. I'm waiting on confirmation exactly when we're doing them, but you guys are going to be here anyway since you're pitting for Bailey Campbell. So thank you so much for coming in and chatting with us. And
fun.
Congratulations today.
Right. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We're going to bring Miles back in over here. We're finishing up this race. We will be starting our unlimited classes here around at 1 o'clock. We are sticking right on time so we can get finished. And Miles, I know that you just took a great break and went and chatted with some people. And who did you find out some good information from?
Yeah, I'm going to bring in Josh Atterbury here in just a moment. I'll kick you back out. I kind of like this swapping in and out, getting a quick break and just bringing in some fresh insight from the race. But, yeah, it's so much fun. I was just kind of standing offside listening to Sean. It was such a fun race between him and John, and I love on course, they are competitors, but they're also friends. So I heard him say, I saw him, I pulled over, let him around, and then in the pits, vice versa.
Right.
You know, they want to beat each other, but they also don't want to, cost them each other any time or anything. So I just love the camaraderie of the Ultra4USA family.
Right, exactly. I love it too, and it's super awesome to have, our finishers that are coming in right now, coming over here and talking to us, right as they're coming off the race course, getting the information from them and everything. But Josh Atterbury, I see that you have him coming, so you just tell me when you're ready to have him come on. But right now, we've had the drone following this guy for quite a while. I've been looking as I was with Sean. I'm not sure exactly what the car number is of this. I believe it's a Jeep. And so, Miles, do you know exactly who that one is? I can't
I
quite
do
see
not.
who it
That's
is.
one of the Cherokees from Yellowstone Off-Road Racing. Could be Keaton Porter. Is a good guess. There's our Optima leaderboard at the top left of your screen. Here for the Amsoil Big Sky 200. All right, Pam. Well, I think I'm going to kick you out of the booth real quick and bring in Josh Atterbury. Have a quick chat with him. See how his race went.
Awesome. Thanks, Miles, and I'll see you back over here in just a minute.
Sounds good. All right, well, in here in the Amsoil broadcast booth, I've got Josh Atterbury. We saw you out on course. Let's get out of the way. What happened, buddy?
Well, it looks like we just ran out of fuel.
Yeah, I was talking to you just yesterday. We were Ryan Miller, Bailey Campbell in the Rants, and you. We were all chatting, and you thought you could make the entire race on one tank, and you couldn't make 2 laps.
Yeah, to be honest, I mean, the fact that little four-banger got worse mileage than our old stroker is pretty crazy. So, yeah, I'm not sure if something in the new fuel cell was the pickups, something's wrong with it, or if we actually got that bad of fuel mileage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, looking at it, that'd be 3.6 miles a gallon.
That's
so,
pretty crazy. And we were chatting. You don't have a whole lot of seat time because you built it for Hammers, but had issues early on. Didn't race it there much. So it's still a new car to you. It's a beautiful car, by the way. I love that thing.
Oh, thank you.
So you still have a little learning, and that's what we were talking. I told you, but buddy, I'm bummed for you. But you're like, it's part of racing, which we all know. But you're going to live and learn from this one.
Yes, yeah, it's the new car blues, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll figure out what happened there, and yeah, like I said, live and learn, and we'll be faster at the next one for sure.
And you and Brandon are both full-time firefighters, correct?
We are. Yes.
I love that. You work all day and then you get all night. So I used to work for AAA, and we had a goofy schedule similar to yours. We had 3 on, 2 off, 4 on, 5 off, and I think you guys do every other day and then get like a 4-day off or something.
No, so we our department does a come do these things, and
yeah. So you're on duty for 48 hours straight.
that's correct.
And then you're off for 4 days. So obviously at work you can try to sleep, but if you get called, you go to work. But then when you're off, you got 4 days to work on that car, huh?
Yeah, 4 days of work on it, and yeah, we also have I own my own business back home as well as a side business.
What do
So
you do
it's, portable toilets and septic.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
We have a few of those around here.
Yes, we do. Yeah, it keeps me busy.
Yeah, well, that's good. And it keeps the money coming in for the race car because we all know those aren't cheap.
Not at all. Not at all.
And I was chatting with you yesterday in the pits about the Ford performance. I think it was Lauren Healy was kind of the patriarch to kind of help out the Rants and yourself, right?
He was, yeah. He was the one that approached us with it, and helped us jump through the hoops and figure out how to build the thing. And
yeah, because the front end, let's dive into it. It's a Ford Bronco. The front end has got portals. So kind of walk us through exactly what's in the car.
Yep. So the front end is it's all the Triton Engineering designed A-arms and suspension, the same as what the other 3 Broncos are running. The 74 weld portals on the front. We went with a Midnight Metalworks, just like a Dan 300 transfer case, and a 14 bolt standard rear end out back that we had ballistic shave and some hubs so we could run the same 6 on 5.5 trophy truck bolt pattern. to match
Nice.
the
Okay.
front.
Sweet. I mean,
So-
it's a work of art. It really is. But then we were chatting, and you had the hood open, so I was kind of crawling around. I was asking some questions, and I asked a specific, like, how was the wiring on it? And you laughed. And you said it took us weeks to figure it out.
It did. That was one of our biggest fears taking it apart is just all the sensors, all the nannies and the computers trying to talk to each other. So yeah, once we got it stripped and putting it back together, we just started plugging stuff in, and we got it to fire up, which we were stoked about because we weren't sure that was even going to work. And fired right up, and as soon as you put it in drive, it shut off. And we
He
fought
got
that
excited for a minute.
For a minute. And so we fought through that, and we started dragging the old transfer case and the old axles and just started plugging stuff into the harness because all the harness is still in the car. And yeah, we found that one of the ABS sensor plugged in, and that got us going.
Yeah, so you, like I said, Lauren kind of approached you guys because you've been with the 4600 Spider Track stock class for a long time. When was the first year you raced that?
No, it wasn't that long. I believe 2016 was our
Okay.
first year.
It all kind of blurs together. I apologize.
No problem.
But yeah, so I mean, and I just love the camaraderie within the stock class. I mean, you guys pit together, you help each other, and we just saw Matthews and Rance battle in the 4500, and you guys were battling the 46, and it was really cool to see it all come down. And I just love the tight knit camaraderie within you guys.
Yeah, 4600 is by far my favorite class because we're like just a small family. Everybody's there to help each other, and if everybody needs parts, anybody needs pit support, everybody's there to jump in and help each other out.
Yeah, no, it's great to see it, and checkered flag is out once again for another Yellowstone off-road racer, number 46. A lot of fun out here. So what was your favorite part out on course today, Josh?
The second part of the course, the high speed stuff was a lot of fun. It was really great to open that Bronco up and see what it'd do.
Yeah, and it did. I mean, you guys were hauling. I'm going to guess 75?
We hit, I think, 86 or 88 on some of the
That's
straights.
pretty impressive in a stock car.
It was moving.
So what's your guess on a Horschel or a Wolf or a Campbell? How fast do you think they're going to get? I'm going to say
man.
buck 10, right?
I'd say a buck 10 pretty easy.
Which is pretty incredible because you do have the room, but then you have to shut her down for those G-outs.
Yeah, there's some good G-outs out there, and then at the end of those long straightaways is some pretty tight corners through gates and stuff like that. So you have to check up and make sure you're watching what you're doing.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch you guys out there racing. Again, Josh Atterbury with the 4600 Spider Track stock class. Thanks for hopping in the Amsoil broadcast booth with me. We have another special little segment we have with Mick Henson, one of your buddies in the stock class. So it's going to be cool to see. We got a really cool little feature with him. Again, part of the 4600 Spider stock class is a lot of fun to watch, and we have a great spot with Mick Henson. So let's check it out. Thanks again, Josh Atterbury.
All right, thanks, Miles.
I'm Mick Henson. We're in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, where I'm from, here in my shop. I've got the 4619 Toyota pickup behind me. This is where all the magic happens for this truck. Also in this shop, I work on Toyotas for a living. I build anything from your regular overlander, lift wheels, tires, to full-blown daily driver rock crawlers. So here in this shop, we've got CNC plasma table. We make all the parts for the 4619 truck, and I make a lot of updated Toyota parts that I sell online and just about everywhere. We do all types of fabrication, bumpers, sliders, roll cage, anything you could need fabricated for a Toyota. As a kid, I was always outdoors, and I was always attracted into off-roading. I knew when it came time to get my first vehicle that I wanted a truck, four-wheel drive, something that I could go fishing or go to the lake or anything like that. At 15, 16, I always was into wheels, bikes, skateboards, scooters, anything with wheels, dirt bikes, I always was on it. And so whenever I turned 16 and got my license, my first Toyota 4Runner, I have been going off-road and working on trucks and that has basically changed my life, and I've focused towards Toyota and off-roading ever since I was 16 years old. So how I acquired this Toyota pickup was I was just scrolling on Facebook Marketplace, as I usually do, just looking at Toyota parts. It came up. It was such a good deal that I saved it, and I didn't need it. I really wanted it, but I didn't need it. And so the price kept getting lower and lower. So eventually I just had to ask, and I asked the guy if he would trade a dirt bike and some cash for it. And a day later, he was down for it. So that's what we did. I brought the truck home. I did a few changes on it to make it a trail rig. I put the cage in it and bumpers and all that. And it wasn't but a couple months later that Ultra4 was coming to Davis, Oklahoma, just 3 hours from me. And I decided that I wanted to enter that race to have fun. And at the race, I was actually pretty nervous. Some of the other rigs were a lot more built and well capable as me. I had old, crusty, dry rotted tires, and I thought that my tires weren't going to last 10 minutes. But I went out and I drove the truck slow. I took my time. I survived the 80-mile race course, and I actually ended up coming in 5th place. So this past weekend, we went to Rush, Kentucky for the first Eastern Series race of Ultra4USA. I raced Rush in 21, and I knew that going out there was possibility for a lot of mud, tight trees, lots of hills, and that's the type of racing that I actually enjoy. So my expectations to do well there was pretty high, depending on how the day goes. So I was very excited to get out to Rush and race again. So we get to Rush, Kentucky, and we had pretty high expectations for rain. It's rain season, and I know that at Rush, when it rains, it turns to mud really bad, and it makes the hills really hard, the rocks slick. It makes the trail very hard it makes the course very hard to get through. And so luckily we lucked out. We didn't have any rain on our race. We had a little bit the day after. But when we got out to pre-run, everything was good. There was some nice rock trails, some tight woods, some beautiful scenery to see, and there was some very fast, tight tree sections that were a blast to race. Those were my biggest concerns. At high speed, you can clip a tree and it can end your race very quickly. So Friday morning we get up first thing for qualifying. The weather was still holding together. We hadn't had any rain yet. There was a lot of dust because of the lack of rain. And so we went out to qualify. I was wanting to take it easy on the truck. In the qualifying course, there were some big holes that you could hit and tear some stuff up. We had to race later in the day, so I wanted to make sure to take it easy. So I qualified second off the line, and I took my time through the course. I actually came down the big hill hard enough that the back tires came off the ground, and when I braced myself, I bent my steering wheel. And so I was taking my time. I got down, I qualified, I got it done, and we ended up qualifying in the 4th position. So after qualifying, we had 4 hours until our race. I went back to the trailer. I started going over the truck. I checked tire pressures, all the fluids. I straightened my steering wheel back out. I got the truck loaded down with the tools that I had planned to carry for the race and impact to change some tires if I needed, some fluids in case the truck got hot. The only real thing I had to adjust was the steering wheel. And so after that, just to prep, we got some lunch, and it was time for the 4600 to start. And so we went and set up 30 minutes before start, and after that we were taking off fourth off the line, and we were in 1 minute increments. And so I was 4 minutes behind the leader, so I knew I needed to make up 4 minutes in the race somewhere. And so we took off for the race, and I had kind of got lost in the lap one. I'd come down a hill, and I took a left when I should have took a right, and the trees were so tight I had to pull up and back up probably 3 times to get back going. We get to the rock section, and from all the pre-running, the rocks had kind of moved and it had gotten a little sloppier, so I had to push the truck a little bit to get it through there. I didn't have any troubles, but I did push it pretty hard to get through the rocks. It was nice. The course was a little more burned in from the pre-running, so we keep going, and I'm just chasing and chasing, and every time I come around a corner, I can just see a little bit of dust from the people from the 3 guys in front of me. So I'm chasing their dust, and I'm not seeing anything, and I just keep going and going. And there's a ginormous hill that you come off of to go up, probably the hardest hill of the race, and at the bottom, I seen the 3rd place qualifier pulled over changing the tire, so I'd got around him and just kept pushing, and we had went ahead and come around and finished our first lap, and we had got around 1 person in the first lap. So in my head, I thought if I can do 1 person a lap, I can easily be in first place and possibly win this thing. So the next lap, I'm pushing a little bit harder. I'm more familiar with the course. I'm starting to see more dust. So I'm chasing and chasing, and then I catch the first place qualifier, the FJ Cruiser. I catch him, he's changing the tire. And so I keep pushing, and in my mind I'm thinking I've really got to keep the tires on this thing so I don't have to stop and get passed back. So I'm chasing and chasing. I had took a wrong line and got lost for a second and actually went down a wrong trail. So I actually had to back up and get back on course, and I was really worried about having to make that time back up or someone catching me, because it was a good 30 seconds of turning around. We would get back into the fast sections, and I was really getting familiar with the track, and I was going a little bit faster and a little bit faster. And eventually I had caught the guy that had worked his way to first in the Jeep, and I could see his dust, and so I was pushing on lap 3, and I had finally caught up to him. And so I had chased him and chased him and chased him, and I just couldn't get around him. We were just battling it out pretty hard, and we got to an either or, and I took the other line while he took the easy line, and I gave the truck everything it had in the either or to try to get around him. But when we got back to the same track, he was 100 yards in front of me. He had just took a better line and drove harder, and he just outdrove me, and there was nothing I could do about it. So I started chasing him once again, and once he got 100 yards in front of me, I was having a hard time catching back up, and I'd probably caught him and was probably 50 yards behind him when we had come to the start finish to go on to lap 4, and we had got the white flag, so it was our last lap. So I knew I had to catch him in our last lap on lap 4. So I was chasing him, and by this time he had definitely realized that I had him on adjusted time, and I knew that, but I also just wanted to get around him, so I knew that the first place position was mine for sure. So I chased him down and chased him and chased him again on lap 4. He was definitely getting away, and at some point I came into the woods and he was stopped, and it looked like he had a tire issue or a steering issue or something, and I had got around him there. So on lap 4, I had finally got all the way into the first place position physically, and so I after that, I knew that I had to be careful and I had to finish the race. I couldn't stop. I couldn't cut any tires. And so I pushed the truck about 80%. I didn't give it everything, but I did have clean air with no one in the way, no dust. So I did push it, and lap 4, I drove all the way to the finish line with no problems, and it actually ended up being my fastest lap of the day. So I know there's a lot of you out there that have Toyota trucks like this or Jeeps or anything, and I highly encourage you to get out to these races and come race with us. It's a lot of fun. Everybody's great. Everybody's welcoming, and it's a great place to be. And 4600 class couldn't be more family oriented. You can hang out with anybody at their camp anytime, ask any questions, and they'll do whatever they can to help you. And if you have any questions, you can always message me or ask me anything about building one of these trucks. And I just encourage everybody to get out to these races and have fun.